language difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Lenny Mann, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the April 17th, 2026 issue of the Tribune/Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The Ellicott Development Plaza plan is being put on pause as Village calls for fulfillment of prior commitments. The Ellicott Development is speaking with ACE for building number 3. The Village of Lewiston Planning Commission enabled Ellicott Development's request to reconfigure building number 3 of its 3-structure plaza. The board and the building inspector zoning officer, Ken Candela, requested additional information as they considered changing the street level section's use from residential to commercial, a modification that would accommodate a retail tenant. Last week, Niagara Frontier Publications reported Ellicott Development is considering Ace Hardware for the 1.4-acre plaza's largest available space at 780 Center Street, bordering on Onondaga Street. Quote, "We came in 2024 to receive approval to enclose the drive-through and put in apartments in the first floor. Since that time, that plan has been put on hold," unquote. Ellicott Development Planning and Development Coordinator Jeremy Wassel told the Historic Preservation Committee, which meets ahead of the Planning Board. Recently, we have entered into discussions with the national tenant to take the whole first floor of this back building. So we're here to slightly modify our plans, including enclosing the drive-through. As part of its original plaza proposal, Ellicott Development was allowed to place retail within this section of building number 3, and it was granted permission to include a drive-through, perhaps for a retail/pharmacy tenant. The Buffalo-based company then pivoted and sought to add street-level living quarters similar to the ones already in place on the second floor. In recent correspondence to the municipality, Wassel said adding additional residential and rental units didn't make financial sense. As such, his company wishes to revisit the original retail component. On Monday, Wassel noted building number 3 would have an electric sliding door opening on the front side and an oversized door on the rear section to accommodate the tenant's deliveries. He added, "We are not looking to make any other changes on site. All the parking and such would remain as is." With a request to change use back to commercial, Candela asked for an updated lot schematic showing the parking requirements. Quote, "Show what we need for the apartments. Show what we're going to need for new retail," unquote, he added. Planning Board Chairman Rick Haight said, "I want to see an updated site plan that indicates square footages of Building 3, uses, and parking requirements." He also requested identification of where the rear loading area will be situated, as I don't want trucks backing into the overhead door and blocking the access around the building. Haight said, "In 24, there was a landscaping plan that was required by the village board. I would like to see an updated landscaping plan as well for this layout, this configuration of use." Wassel was reminded Ellicott Development agreed to provide a gazebo and/or multi-use area within the plaza. Planning Board member Josh Janice questioned how the addition of market-rate rental units, as first proposed in late 2023, became cost prohibitive, as Wassel noted in his correspondence to the village regarding the intended building use change. Quote, "It kind of feels like an eyesore and it kind of seems like we're just playing around with different approvals and what we're looking for while we're the ones living here and it's an empty space, Janice said. As a market rate, it should be rented. That's the definition of market. It's been 2 years, and now you're saying it's cost prohibitive. And now you're trying to pull something else and ask for us to deal with it. I can have our team look into that and give you more details, Wassel said. Is there a reason why the other items haven't been addressed? Either, Janice said, like the gazebo and the shrubbery? Quote, we didn't go forward with the apartments at that time, so that's why those items were not addressed, Wassel said. Again, quote, our approval last time was contingent on those terms, Janice said. Quote, so this isn't a yes or a no. It's an all in or all out. It's not we say yes and you guys say no, and that's how I feel about it. Haight said, I'm of the opinion that it's market driven and they originally had commercial space on the first floor. I know they asked for residential and we're going back and closing up the drive-through. The planning board acted to table the plaza proposal until it receives an updated site plan. Prior to that, the Historic Preservation Commission did vote in favor of the plaza change, as aesthetically they're meeting the qualifications, Vice Chair Peter Coppin said. That's all we're looking for is the architectural design, Chair Loretta Frankovich noted. In between and following the meetings, there was more talk about the proposal. Last weekend, social media reactions to the hardware store proposal were overwhelmingly negative, particularly as residents noted the village already has Warren's Village Hardware. With regard to those comments, conversation in the boardroom centered on how there is no law prohibiting the addition of a second hardware store. This village cannot dictate to whom a retail landlord offers a lease, unless there's a super specific prohibition like an adult entertainment establishment right next to a religious entity. Moreover, chatter from residents who declined to be named noted there was a similar fear of the commercial competition when Tim Hortons opened in this same plaza 5 years ago, and how that chain could impact the Orange Cat Coffee Company and the Village Bake Shop. The two local merchants weathered that arrival, however, and are still in business today. That concludes this article. In the news, the Hometowns events section. Lewiston Garden Fest is accepting applications for 2026 vendors and open gardens. It is celebrating its 20th anniversary. With spring here, it's not too early to start thinking about all things gardening. Lewiston Garden Fest organizers are accepting applications for both vendors and residents interested in sharing their own gardens as part of the annual event, set for Saturday and Sunday, June 20th and 21st, along Center Street in Lewiston. We're preparing to say, quote, cheers to 20 years, unquote, with a toast to our love of gardening and supporting beautification efforts throughout the Lewiston community at this year's Lewiston Garden Fest, said Marie Ann Yates, chair of the Lewiston Garden Fest. Quote, enjoy everything garden all in one place and support this major fundraiser for the Lewiston Garden Club, unquote. Businesses and vendors who sell items related to gardening and horticulture, including nurseries, landscapers, garden artists, and others, are encouraged to apply. The application fee varies from $150 to $325 based on the size of the vendor display. Garden owners in the village and town of Lewiston who are interested in showcasing their own hard work are encouraged to join this year's Open Garden Tour. Festival attendees can view the participating gardens only when the open garden signs are in place between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. during the event weekend. Vendors and open garden homeowners are encouraged to apply by May 1st to ensure including in the printed brochure. For information or to download an application, visit Lewiston Garden Fest. That's all one word, lewistongardenfest.com. Lewiston Garden Fest is free to attend. In addition to the garden-related vendors and open gardens to explore, the event also includes a variety of speakers and master gardeners on hand to answer questions throughout the weekend. Garden-themed craft activities for children in a container garden contest open to the public proceeds from Lewiston Garden Fest. Go toward Lewiston Garden Club beautification. Proceeds from the Lewiston Garden Fest go toward Lewiston Garden Club beautification efforts and local youth scholarships. For more information, visit lewistongardenfest.com. Lewiston Garden Fest, all one word, .com. The Historical Association of Lewiston is welcoming June Crawford. The Historical Association of Lewiston is pleased to welcome June Crawford for its next program, The Grain Elevators, Saving Buffalo's History. This presentation will be at 7 p.m. Thursday, April 23rd at the Lutheran Church of the Messiah Fellowship at 915 Oneida Street, Lewiston. Now, in the early 1800s, Buffalo was a small village. Its emergence as a thriving city that became one of the wealthiest areas of the United States by 1900 is directly related to its position on Lake Erie, the building of the Erie Canal, and the development of the grain silos that could handle the distribution of the nation's grain supply. The invention of the grain elevator made this port so efficient that it changed the face of American farming and grain sales. The Renaissance in Buffalo over the past 2 decades in particular is related to the history and architecture of the city. The silos and grain elevators are an important part in the history and understanding the savings of these cathedrals of Buffalo is essential to maintaining them and integrating their stories into today's preservation efforts. Crawford is a retired educator, reading clinician, diagnosis of reading disorders, and locally she has been employed by Niagara University, SUNY Niagara, Medaille College, and the State University of New York at Buffalo. She is a member of several local historical associations and also serves as a local tour guide. This community event is free and open to all, but donations are greatly appreciated to help support the Lewiston Museum, and refreshments will be served. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The Relay for Life is celebrating its 25th anniversary. The 2026 version of Relay for Life, scheduled for June 6th, marks the 25th anniversary of this event on Grand Island. Our 25th anniversary is a huge milestone. Can you think of a community event you attended 25 years ago that is still happening today, not counting the 4th of July parade? Relay co-anchor Lynn Dingy asked, quote, Relay requires a lot of hard work and dedication to put together every year. But our event wouldn't still be here without the support of our amazing community supporting Relay year after year. And did you know that the Relay for Life is the American Cancer Society's largest international fundraiser? Dingy asked. Did you know that the ACS uses those funds for patient services and funding research grants? It's pretty amazing to think that money we raised is being used to fund research at SUNY Buffalo and Roswell Park Comprehensive Care Center, and to offer our cancer survivors critical support. For the 25th anniversary, the committee is bringing back past activities. These include a theme lap, quote, more survivor activities in the survivor tent, and a couple of other things we're working on, unquote, Dingy said. This year, the theme is Superheroes United to Fight. We have some fun superhero activities planned, Dingy said. Activities already planned include a superhero costume lap with a costume contest. In the kids zone, there will be a superhero training course. It's an obstacle course. And other fun activities for the kids. Also planned is a superhero movie night. Movie night will be right in the town commons, Dingy said. We'll be showing The Incredibles, and we'll have popcorn, snacks, and refreshments for sale. We will have 3 superheroes that will be joining us at the event, Dingy said, noting the superheroes will be available for photos. Food available at the relay will include taco in a bag, hot dogs, John's Pizza, something yummy from 773 North, and Crazy Cannoli Chick, and a lemonade vendor. We're working on several more options, Dingy said, adding the dinner in the survivor tent will be provided by Mr. and Mrs. Catering Services. The Survivor celebration will have a superhero wall to add all of our superheroes to. We always get together and talk about theme ideas. I remembered a conversation from years ago with a survivor and her daughter. Each called the other their hero during the mother's battle with cancer. A quote, hero, unquote, theme idea quickly turned into a superhero theme and grew from there. We're looking forward to seeing everyone on June 6th. If anybody is interested in forming a team and having a tent at Relay, we'd love to have them. They can visit www, all one word, relayforlife.org/Grand Island, New York to sign up. That's www, all one word, relayforlife.org/Grand Island, New York to sign up. We're also inviting any former relay teams and participants to join us in celebrating our 25th relay. Niagara County celebrates Donate Life Month. Niagara County Clerk Joseph A. Jastrzemski said the county's 3 Department of Motor Vehicles offices in Lockport, Niagara Falls, and North Tonawanda are once again decorated to celebrate April as Donate Life Month. Throughout the month, those who have saved lives through the gift of a donation are honored, and others are encouraged to consider registering as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Quote, I am so proud that in the just over a decade, the percentage of organ donors in Niagara County has grown from around 29% in 2015 to nearly 73% today, said Jastrzemski, who noted the statewide average is 53%. The theme of Donate Life Month this year is Leave a Legacy, and thousands of Niagara County residents are signed up to do just that. Jastrzemski said there are more than 8,000 New York residents on the organ transplant wait list, and every 10 minutes another person is added to the national transplant waiting list. One organ, eye, and tissue donor can save 8 lives and heal 75 more through eye tissue donation. Residents can sign up to be organ donors by visiting the state registry at https://donatelife.ny.gov or any of the county DMV offices. Quote, I want to acknowledge our great DMV employees who go all out celebrating and promoting Donate Life Month each April, Jastromansky said. The fact is, 85% of all of those who have signed up to be donors did so through a DMV. So I give a ton of credit for Niagara County's success to them. The Grand Islands Lions Club announces its 57th Spaghetti Dinner fundraiser that will take place from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday, April 27th at Eldon's Grill and Banquet at 201 Whitehaven Road. Proceeds will benefit the Lion Club's annual Kids Picnic in July. The dinner includes spaghetti, meatballs, and a salad. The cost is $12 for adults and $5 for kids ages 7 and under. Also featured the Lions' popular 50-50 basket raffles and baked goods sale. New for 2026 is a silent art auction. Tickets are available pre-sale. For more information, contact Dick Crawford at 716-818-6992. That's Dick Crawford, 716-818-6992. Or visit the Lions, the GI Lions on Facebook. In the obituaries, longtime Niagara Wheatfield tennis coach Art Johnson passes away. Arthur William Johnson, 83, of Vero Beach, Florida, passed away on April 10th, 2026, following a long illness. He was a dear husband, brother, uncle, father, and friend. Prior to moving to Florida, Arthur served as a business teacher and coach at Niagara Wheatfield High School. His impact on youth sports in the Buffalo areas was celebrated. His loss will be felt deeply. The community is invited to Shea's Buffalo Theater for a Minecraft movie. It starts on May 17th, and it's an event part of Shea's free film series. The Performing Arts Center invites the community to the Shea's Buffalo Theater to see a Minecraft movie at 1 p.m. Sunday, May the 17th. Doors will open at noon. The movie watching event is part of Shea's free film series. Moviegoers are invited to come early for pre-film activities, trivia, and to stop by a book table and to pick up a free book or gently used book. Concessions will also be open. From Warner Brothers Pictures and Legendary Pictures, a Minecraft movie stars Jack Black, Jason Momoa, Emma Myers, Daniel Brooks, and Sebastian Eugene Hansen. And the film tracks four characters who find themselves struggling with ordinary problems when they are suddenly pulled through a mysterious portal into the overworld, a bizarre cubic wonderland that thrives on imagination. And to get back home, they'll have to master this world while embarking on a magical quest with an unexpected expert crafter. Together, their adventure will challenge all five to be bold and to reconnect with the qualities that make each of them uniquely creative, the very skills they need to thrive in the real world. This film was released in 2025 and is rated PG. Tickets are free to the public. However, seating is limited. For free tickets, go to https://www.shays.org/performances/free film series. I'll repeat that. For free tickets, go to https://www.shays.org/performances/free film series. Shay's free family series is made possible in part thanks to the generous support from the Erie County for Community Arts Engagement and Education. Grand Island coach Santorio reaches his 300th career win in baseball, by Madeline Dorobiella. A varsity baseball coach at Grand Island High School celebrated his 300th career win on April 1st against Amherst. Dean Santorio marked the occasion as the Grand Island Vikings defeated Amherst 12-0. Santorio is the second coach in the history of both Grand Island High School's varsity football and baseball teams. The first was Gene Masters, who coached Santorio. After graduating from Grand Island in 1986, Santorio came back to teach physical education and began coaching football, baseball, and basketball in 1992. Santorio was the junior varsity coach for both football and baseball before taking over as head coach in both programs. Quote, "It would be a great challenge, so I felt as though I was up for it. But there was a nervousness about having to do that and follow someone that's had so much success in both sports and be only the second guy at the school, and it's all alma mater on top of it all," Santorio said, unquote. His mindset was mentoring kids, and it expands beyond the field, Santorio said. He cares not only about who they are as athletes, but who they are as people. I think what I've tried to do, especially in the last 15 years, is just try to be real honest with kids on where they're at, what the expectations are. Just the important things to hopefully make them into better people down the road, Santorio said. Be good citizens. Work hard at everything you do. Be disciplined. Understand that there's other things than winning baseball or a football game. Santorio credits his past coaches like Masters for leaving an impact that led him to pursue coaching. Players describe Santorio as a driving force, someone who believes in them and helps further their developments as athletes. Now, I've only been with him for 2 years, but no matter what level you play on, he always believes in you, says senior Caden Sharkey. He's always looking at the junior varsity squad to see if any player is ready to get pulled, to see if they're ready to play on the varsity level. Santorio said he hopes to leave a positive impact on the kids he mentors, and it's clear to the athletes that he has. Now, before games or at the end of games, where we're all huddled up in the middle and we're kind of expecting before games or at the end of games, where we're all huddled up in the middle, and he kind of gets us going, excited. We all just get riled up a little bit, even if we're down in the game, Senior Tom Albarella said. Santorio's athletes feel supported and understood. He cares about every single one of us, Senior John Chiarenza said, and then he's built the culture of his team pretty much. Santorio has 300 baseball and 140 football wins in his career. In the fall of 2025, he brought the varsity football team to the Section 6A5 semifinals against Williamsville South. The Rotary Club of Grand Island will again present its annual document destruction event. This year, the occasion is set for 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, June 6th, at a new location. The new location is Sidway School parking lot. The Sidway School parking lot. This is a drive-through in-vehicle service, and patrons can watch the confidential destruction of their papers. The cost is $10 per box, which is approximately a 12 by 6 by 10 inches, or $20 for a double banker's box. Please follow the guidelines for secure document destruction by removing metal and plastic binders. Staples and paper clips will be accepted. Only paper items are accepted for curbside recycling. If you have more than 6 large boxes, call 716-773-7265. The funds raised at this event will be used by the Rotary Club for various community causes. Co-sponsors for this event are Christine Learman and Madison Tile Carpet One. For more information, visit www, all one word, GrandIslandRotaryClub.org or on Facebook. The Niagara County Youth Bureau will return as a sponsor for the 2026 Summer Food Services Program, SFSP. This program ensures that children who are economically disadvantaged continue to receive nutritious meals during summer vacation. The Summer Food Service Program is a federally funded program funded by the USDA and administered by the New York State Education Department that provides free meals to all children at approved SFSP sites. Meals, including breakfast and or lunch, are provided to children ages 18 and under. Applications are now being accepted from prospective SFSP sites. Approved sites will receive meals during the program, which plans to run from June the 29th to August 28th. Site requests are individualized, including meals needed and program dates. If your organization, summer day camp, or youth program is interested in serving as an SFSP site, please contact the Youth Bureau Director, Benjamin Bunker, at 716-278-6872 for more information. Deadline for site application is Friday, April 24th. Erie County will host 2 free drive-through rabies vaccine clinics in May at sites in the town of Tonawanda and the city of Buffalo, inviting pet owners to take advantage of this public health service to protect dogs, cats, and ferrets. Dates and times include 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, May 2nd at the Town of Tonawanda Highway Garage, 450 Woodward Avenue, Kenmore, and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, May 9th at the Buffalo Public School number 5480. That's Saturday, May 9th at Buffalo Public School number 8484 in the parking lot, 462 Grider Street, Buffalo. Registration is available at erie.gov/one word rabies vaccine. Appointments are required. Up to 3 pets will be accepted per appointment. Individuals who are unable to access online reservation should call 716-961-6800 during business hours to schedule an appointment. The American Legion installs flags at DeGlopper Memorial by Karen Carr Keefe. On the afternoon of April the 8th, members of American Legion Post 1346 of Grand Island raised 10 new flags at the DeGlopper Memorial Park. Their efforts last week were graced by sunshine, blue skies, and a rather brisk wind. Legion members replace all of the flags annually with new ones because during the year the flags become tattered and torn, explained Post Commander Ray DeGlopper. He is the nephew of Medal of Honor recipient Private First Class Charles N. DeGlopper, for whom the memorial is named. Charles DeGlopper was awarded the Medal of Honor posthumously in 1948. Ray DeGlopper said former town supervisor Mary Cook sews the corners of the flags to reinforce them. That way, the flags last a whole year in the winds that sweep the park at the intersection of Baseline Road and Grand Island Boulevard. The 10 flags are the American flag, as well as those of the U.S. Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Air Force, Space Force, the 82nd Airborne Division of the U.S. Army, the Merchant Marine, and the POW-MIA flag to honor the American prisoners of war and those missing in action. Although the flags were raised in April, they are generally going to be displayed between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, just as the Post's quote-unquote hometown hero banners are. Funding for the flags, the money to replenish the flag comes from a number of sources. These include the American Legion's fundraising, as well as business, local government sources, and private donors. The town of Grand Island provides $300 towards the effort, and Erie County awarded a grant of $25,000 to be used over a 5-year period. Certified Auto is one of the businesses that is a major donor as well. American Legion Post 1346 played a key role in the expansion of the DeGlopper Memorial and in bringing the 7-foot bronze statue of Charles N. DeGlopper to the park. The local American Legion Post continues its part toward maintaining the memorial. The statue of Charles DeGlopper was unveiled and dedicated on June 5, 2021. Sculpted by Susan Geiser of Youngstown, the statue towers over the DeGlopper Memorial and is the heart of the park that surrounds it. At the 2021 dedication ceremony, Post 1346 member Joseph Sinikowski said, "Now that the statue of Charles de Glopper is in the middle of the park, nobody will ever forget him." De Glopper's story is well known, both in his hometown and across the nation. A reminder that you are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And a reminder that de Glopper's story is well known, both in his hometown and across the nation. On June 9, 1944, Private First Class Charles N. de Glopper saved members of his platoon from death at the hands of their German enemy in La Fière, France. He sprayed the hostile positions with assault fire and, gravely wounded, kneeled in the road and kept firing until he was killed. He was a member of Company C, 325th Glider Infantry, a part of the 82nd Airborne Division of the U.S. Army. The members of the de Glopper and killed in action families will be forever indebted to his monumental effort put forth by the de Glopper Memorial Expansion Committee. With the support of our wonderful Grand Island Committee, a heartfelt thanks goes out to all of you, Ray de Glopper said to the crowd of hundreds who came to pay tribute to their hometown hero. There we go. The American Legion Post 1346 holds its major fundraiser, the annual Mother's Day Flower fundraiser, this year from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. or until they're sold out on Friday, May the 8th through Saturday, May the 9th at the de Glopper Memorial. If there are any flowers left, the sale will continue through Sunday, May 10th, or again until sold out. The fundraiser, held for the past 15 years, was the idea of the late Richard Shorty Vanthoff. The flowers, including many colorful hanging baskets, are supplied by Highway Garden Center, located at 1941 Tonawanda Creek Road, Amherst. There will be a membership table at the flower sale for those interested in joining the American Legion Post 1346. The American Legion scholarships the American Legion gives 3 scholarships annually to Grand Island High School graduates. 2 are academic scholarships for those who will be attending a traditional college or university. The 3rd goes to a graduate who will be attending a technical college. Applicants write an essay, and the committee from Post 1346 makes the selection. The scholarships are given in June before graduation, with the award ceremony at Charles N. de Glopper Memorial Park. There is a de Glopper, the documentary Charles N. de Glopper, An American Hero, was directed and produced by native Grand Islander Jerry Cahill with associate producer Bonnie Cahill. It was broadcast November 11th, 2024 on WNED-TV, Buffalo, Toronto Public Media. Now, just before the documentary aired, Jerry Cahill told senior contributing writer Alice Gerard, "The de Glopper Memorial sits where it should be, right in the heart of Grand Island, where everyone can see it, walk through it, and touch it." He added, "And when you do, you can actually feel the tragedy and the glory that is there among those memorial stones and the photographs of all the fallen from Grand Island who met their destiny on some foreign location, defending their friends and comrades when they were needed the most." Grand Island veterans organizations and island residents were very instrumental in the well-received definitive production. The documentary was produced by the local VFW Post 9249 and the American Legion Post 1346. Senior executive producers were John Bradell and Dale Berger of the VFW and Ray DeGlopper of the American Legion. The script was written by Robert Lamb of the VFW Post. Other local residents in the credits: Alan Lee, Christian Eshelman, Kristen DeGlopper Banks, Gary Roche, Harry Ensminger, Paul Sommer, Tom Vogt, Elsie Martino, and Mary Cook. Also credited are Major General David J. Conboy, U.S. Army retired, Dr. John Long, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant retired, and Joe Sinekowski, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant retired, and the 82nd Airborne Division. The Niagara County Department of Health's Children with Special Needs Division proudly announces the opening of a new sensory playroom at the Trot Access Center in Niagara Falls. Funded through the New York State Community Access and Inclusion Grant, this space represents a major step forward in providing accessible, family-centered support developed in response to local families with special needs children It's a major step forward in providing accessible, family-centered support developed in response to local families with children and youth with special health care needs. That's CYSHCN. The Sensory Playroom is designed to serve families county-wide, providing a welcoming environment that goes beyond just play. The key features and services include inclusive play sessions. Open playtimes are available for any family meeting CYSHCN eligibility criteria, along with scheduled individual and small group sessions. Also, therapeutic support. Families enrolled in early intervention or preschool special education programs may utilize the room for therapy sessions with their existing providers. Also, equipment lending library. Enrolled families have the unique opportunity to borrow select sensory toys and specialized equipment for use in their own homes. It also provides a caregiver community. A dedicated parent coffee bar offers a space for caregivers to connect, while on-site CYSHCN staff are available to provide referrals and navigate additional supports. This new sensory playroom directly advances our public health priorities by fostering an early engagement with families and children, reducing barriers to care, and promoting inclusive community resources that benefit Niagara County as a whole, said Dr. Fazia Khan, Niagara County Public Health Director. Programs like this are vital because they strengthen the family resilience, support healthy child development, and contribute to the overall public health of our community by addressing the unique needs of children and youth with special health care needs. Working with families with special needs has shown me the vital importance of having a dedicated, accessible space like Niagara County's sensory room. Niagara County Legislature Rick Abbott said, "I commend the Department of Health for engaging community stakeholders to identify this unmet need and utilizing feedback to design a space that ensures every Niagara County resident feels welcome and supported." The sensory room opening is scheduled for Friday, April 17th, during the National Week of the Young Child. The room will be open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and welcomes anyone interested in learning more to come in and take a look at the space. We are excited to use this funding to fill a critical need for our families by creating a fun, engaging space for families in Niagara County in an easily accessed location in the Trot Access Center, room A210, right across from the Niagara Falls DMV, said Janice Janoschuk, Director of the Children with Special Needs Division at the Niagara County Department of Health. This sensory playroom will serve as a welcoming hub where children and youth, along with their families, can play, learn, and connect, all while receiving the coordinated supports that promote healthier outcomes across our community. Open hours and contact information are available on the Niagara County Department of Health website at Children and Youth with Special Health Care Needs Program, or by contacting the Children and Youth with Special Health Care Needs Programs at 716-278-8194. 278-8194. A budget vote is set for April 30th in Youngstown by Benjamin Joe. For the third year in a row, the property tax rate for the village of Youngstown is likely to remain static at approximately $7.81 per $1,000 of assessed value for property in the municipality. The tentative budget was presented at the Village of Youngstown's Board of Trustees meeting on Thursday, April 9th, to a small audience of less than 5 residents. Deputy Mayor Rick Stortecki preceded going over the tentative budget by saying he had negotiated with the New York State Department of Transportation to save the village a sizable amount of money. New York State DOT sent an email regarding the road reconstruction project in our portion of the betterment for the water line. We had already paid them $483,152, and once the project was set, if it came back more than originally budgeted, we would be on the hook for the overage, which we agreed to, he said. However, in reviewing the estimate we received the day of the last meeting, they threw in a line item that I had originally gotten them to take off. They came back and reduced it from $25,903 to $8,608, a savings of $17,295. The budget shows the total expense facing the village is $2,720,000. The budget shows the total expense facing the village is $2,720,214.67. Revenues to the village were calculated to meet this expense without raising any more taxes from the residents. Last year's budget had an expense of $2,189,069.76. According to Stortecki, portions of the new budget will be set aside for the procurement of a new truck for the Department of Public Works, while the clerk's office is also in need of new software for its day-to-day operations. Another source of spending comes from the Board of Trustees' plans to repair the old train station in the Veterans Park neighborhood. Stortecki said their structure would get a new roof and new floors. It's a historic building, he said, and he believes the village would benefit from its restoration. The price tag for the repairs is approximately $30,000. The remaining amount of spending in the budget comes from non-taxpayers' funds. A $245,000 Greenway grant will assist on the Rails Trails project, and CHIPS funding totaling $150,000, $70,000 more than last year, will also be spent accordingly. Stortecki defended the move to use $200,000 worth of reserves in the village coffers that had been saved through the years, saying the present administration in the village benefited from putting funds into a New York class account, making 3.5% interest annually. Stortecki also said the state, in its last audit, advised the village to spend part of its reserves. The vote on the tentative budget is scheduled for 6 p.m. April 30th at the Village of Youngstown Board of Trustees regular meeting to be held in the Municipal Building Boardroom at 240 Lockport Street. Erie County wants to hear from you. An article submitted by Executive Mark Pollencarns. We are currently seeking input from residents to share their opinions about county services, programs, infrastructure, priorities, future projects, and more through the Envision Erie Public Survey. This new initiative was announced during my 2025 State of the County address as a way of my administration remaining committed to listening to residents from all neighborhoods from the various cities, towns, and villages of our region. I want to ensure that our county government remains responsive and transparent, and one way to do that is to ask you what you think about how we are doing, and most importantly, what we can do to improve. Quote-unquote Envision Erie is a way for all residents to express what's important to them about Erie County. This includes business, health, quality of life, education, infrastructure, and anything else that might be on your mind. It should prove to be an effective way that everyone can have input, hopefully producing actionable ideas that can improve county government and our community as a whole for future generations. The goal of conducting this survey is to collect meaningful representative feedback from residents across Erie County, diverse communities, and use that input to help guide county policy, programs, and investments. All county residents are encouraged to participate in the survey. The survey will be open for 90 days and will be available online at www.erie.gov/Envision Erie. That's ENVISION. In addition, paper surveys will be made available at community centers, senior centers, and public libraries. At the survey's conclusion, my team will then analyze survey responses and community input throughout the summer, attempt to identify key trends and priorities, and develop and eventually release a public-facing action plan later this year that will clearly outline how Erie County will respond to identified community needs and priorities. By collecting your comments and views, we will be working collaboratively to create a better county for all. As I have said often in the past, a government is at its essence its people. It is the manifestation of its better angels, their hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Your participation and honest feedback in submitting a completed Envision Erie survey will help make this possible. So please visit www.erie.gov/Envision Erie, that's ENVISION, and complete the survey. If someone has a specific question about the survey or needs help filling it out because of technological challenges, feel free to contact David Bojankowski in my office by calling 716-858-8466, 858-8466.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. At 6 o'clock, we got the Wall Street Journal Off Duty. And at 7 o'clock, we got Harper's Magazine. Stay with us for these readings and more. If you or people you know shop at any of the Dash's supermarkets, please save Dash's register tapes for radio reading. The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes